Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ybot, and this video is having post-recorded commentary because I effed up somehow originally, and the original recorded commentary did not take. I've checked this episode and the other ones past it, I believe. I'll just double check for you right now, actually. Here, just a moment. Yeah, so episodes should be episodes 23 through 26 here are going to need some post-produced commentary. So that's a good 2 hours that I'm going to have to be recording commentary for you guys here. So I'm probably going to do this in a couple of shots. The good news is at this point, the series is done. The series is done. It's over with. You'll see whether or not I won and what type of victory type I used at the end there. What I am going for here is a domination victory, and in the last particular game, in the last particular episode here, in episode 22, I believe, I actually was able to capture Welshgit and start going to war with the Germans here. Space Germany, otherwise known as Intgr. So, made some progress there. We've captured the first city there. And our goal is to stop the construction of the beacon, which may actually have been stopped last time. Let's take a look here. So she's currently not offering any sort of peace treaty here, so we're just checking that out. Not entirely sure why. I think I'm curious about her affinity and all that. But yes, indeed, we did destroy the beacon last time. I see it being rebuilt right by Intgr's capital. So, and now, yeah, at this point I was discussing the, I was actually looking at the differences that the affinities make. They're very, very, very subtle. Like, Supremacy gives them yellow eyes in most cases. Like, Chungsu here, we've gone heavy into Supremacy here, and have very little to show for it besides a gray suit. So, yeah. Anyway, folks, we're gonna just do some housekeeping work here, get our workers to go work stuff. We are building that new city there to connect our the northern and southern portions of our empire on that particular continent. What happened there is we took over Brasilia there. We took over Citadella, Manuel, and the other one that we took over first, the other couple of cities we took over first. And had a nice long protracted war there because my army was entirely composed of naval units. I was having a hell of a time getting my forces to do anything on land, build up any sort of land forces, because aquatic cities kind of suck for that. The idea... And that's part of the design, I believe. I believe they said when they were working on this game that they were intent on making aquatic cities really good for building aquatic units, so ships, submarines, etc. And then land cities would be very good at building, or would be the same at building just land units. So it actually would be kind of a case where aquatic cities actually get slightly penalized, I guess? I feel like that might be the case, although they just... It could also be that they get a boost to production for aquatic units, and they just produce less production overall because they don't have as many options to do stuff. Like, you can't build manufactories on sea tiles, for example, which turn out to be really fucking good. I used to avoid those suckers like the plague because they cost 2 health and 2 energy. They only produce like 5 production when they're upgraded, but it turns out they're actually not that bad. They're actually pretty good in the rising tide meta, I guess you'd say. So anyway, we're just looking at stuff to build in Doraldo here, the first aquatic city that we captured from Space Attila there. And we're just gonna... Yeah, with these guys, eventually what we're gonna do is we're gonna start porting them back home. Because, or porting them back over to Franco-Iberia. around that area, because we don't really have much we can do with them at this point. I will spoil this much for you guys. Duncan just gets wiped off of the face of the earth. I'm not sure if that has happened just quite yet. What ends up happening basically with Duncan, if we haven't already seen it, is that Duncan has a little outpost that just kind of disappears after a while. I'm not sure what happens to it. Yeah, and you see right up there, it's gone already. So yeah, that's what happened to Duncan. Duncan just buggered off. We took out all of his full cities, and then he just kind of starved to death in the wilderness. So, anyway, we've got a basal transporter here, and we're trying to create a bit of a beachhead, but the problem is that we're facing up against tanks with our artillery, and that's not a good choice. And as I said before, we're going to transport these guys back to Franco-Iberian territory, and we're just going to do that as quickly as we can, which is basically one unit at a time. But on the bright side, we can beam submarines from one end of the world to another, which is kind of cool. Oh, we can also beam aircraft carriers. Did I forget to mention that? Yeah, we can beam aircraft carriers. That's pretty cool. Auto sled here, we're just going to ford up over there. And we'll get our vortexes ready for teleportation as well when we can manage it. And I think we want to move our guys back here. Like, they are fully upgraded artillery pieces. However, she's got a decent force ready to attack me here, and I'm just trying to decide which one I want to hit. So I think do I just hit the CNDRs? They're the weakest one at this point. Nope, I actually run away. It's probably the best choice, honestly. Just gonna have some of my beer for a sec here while we go through the turn. There we go, delicious Keith. Yeah, typically I drink when I'm doing these commentaries. I don't have to focus on gameplay decisions. Unfortunately, I can't give you as accurate information on the gameplay decisions. I can tell you what I think I was thinking, but I may have forgotten what I was actually thinking, so that could be a problem. One thing I'd like to do with these phasal transporters is I'd like to reverse them, like say beam somebody from its area of influence back to a city, because in cases like that, those guys are kind of surrounded. Like, I did that on purpose. I beamed them in there in that position on purpose, but I didn't anticipate there was going to be as much stuff there, so yeah. So while we're going through the turns here, folks, I might as well just talk about some other stuff here. Today's a Saturday. It's almost the end of January. In fact, it might be... Oh my goodness, it's January 30th. Cool. Well, I've just dated myself. So, anyway, yeah, it's January 30th, 2016 here right now, and we're slowly trying to go through the industry tree here. In hindsight, and also based on my first Apollo play here, and stuff that I've read on the Civ Fanatics forums, it sounds like the industry tree is the best bet. So what I did initially is pretty good, and also going for the knowledge tree is not terrible either. I mean, I managed to make it work quite well, but I have had some production problems at this point in the game, and it's annoying. And especially with Chungsu, he seems to have sufficient amounts of trade routes, and he also seems to have sufficient amounts of spies to get science, so Academy spam doesn't seem to be all that necessary. So that's why I've been building all those manufacturers, and health is really easy to deal with in this particular game. I'd be at high amounts of positive health if I wasn't going for a domination victory. Since I'm going for a domination victory, I'm getting kind of slammed with the with health here, and we're just going to go ahead and we're going to beam that Shroud back into the Franco-Iberian arena here, and we'll get ready for the second war with Elodie whenever that comes. Probably, I think it comes sooner rather than later. And for now, what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to get those vulnerable artillery pieces out of Intgr territory or neutral territory. My thinking at the time was that, and my thinking was wrong if you take a look at the Intgr boats sitting inside of their territory, but my thinking was that if I can get those guys inside of KP territory, then I'd be safe. And we've got a bunch of stuff. Got a lot of missions to redo. And yeah, just mostly go for energy and science missions, pretty much. So, one thing I should also note here is that my last little experiment that I was just playing earlier on today with, I think I was playing as Elflaw. I was getting my ass kicked. Well, no, that's not fair. Chungsu was coming at me relentlessly, is what we'll say. I was fending him off. I also had Kozlov to the north, and I was fending him off, too. He was attacking me from the overland from the north, and Chungsu was attacking me from the west with a navy, which had to go through a very narrow channel to get to me. Well, fairly narrow. And that narrow channel served both as a wonderful choke point, and also served as a real pain in the ass, because I couldn't maneuver my submarines around well enough. And anyway, the moral of my story is that Chungsu was facing me with units that, at least from the base units that you start off with, he had 2 levels higher affinity units than I did. A lot of the other AI opponents had like 1 level higher affinity units, but Chungsu has an insane science bonus. So keep that in mind when you're playing him on, hell, even when you're playing him on Soyuz, you're probably going to run into this problem here. He kind of, I think he might be similar to what you would face with, say, Korea in Civilization 5. So he is one to look out for when it comes to the AI there, because he will just spam, like he had a carpet of boats coming in, a carpet of really, really tough boats coming in over and over again. Fortunately, my city had a rocket battery set up, and that was good enough. But otherwise, my capital would have been kind of screwed. But eventually I got fighters, and I was able to just chip the ships down a little bit with submarine fire and city fire, and then finish them off with fighter jets, which turned out to be pretty good. If you're just attacking wounded units, that is. If you're attacking units of full health, then you might lose your fighter jets, and if you see that you're going to lose them in the attack window there, then just don't even try. That's one of the basic things. Like, if you know you're going to use suicide a unit into something, don't do it. But yeah, I'm kind of rambling here, but I just wanted to share that little experience that I had with you guys. And it's kind of contrary to what I've heard about Chungsu on the Civ Fanatics forums, actually. That's the point I was trying to get to, was that on the Civ Fanatics forums, they actually list Chungsu as either one of the more mediocre civilizations or one of the weaker, or one of the weakest ones. They list Tatuma, that annoying little bastard, as one of the highest ones, and indeed in my when I get around to an Apollo playthrough, I will be playing as Tatuma to start off with, because that's what I did my test one on. I probably did it on, in my opinion, one of the easier map settings, which is Hatuma with his infinite trade routes on the fungal map, where you get those mushrooms that fertilize each tile with, I think it's 3 food. So usually I saw a bunch of them in the water where it was like 4 food, and you get like, say, the 1 base food from the tile, and then the 3 from the mushroom. So I ended up having lots of cities with lots of food because I always camped out around the mushrooms. So there's that. So that was pretty easy. I don't think I'm going to do another playthrough with Itum on the mushroom map for my first Let's Play. on Apollo, though. I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'll do it with something else. Haven't decided what yet. Anyway, let's take a look at what we're doing here. I think we're checking out to see if Intgr will give us peace. No, she will not.
Meine Zeit ist kostbar.
But I think at this point, I think we may have... And please keep in mind, I can't see the screen all that well, but we were planning on assaulting the beacon at some point here. So, I unfortunately have no control over the camera in this replay, so I'm just following along just like you guys. And I think we're just choosing something to build in this particular city. And the city's just one of the ones we captured from Space Attila a long time ago, so we're just finding something good to build. Can't even see the icon properly. And we did a while ago change our military trait from the spying one over to the imperialist one, because our goal with that spying one was to get max rank as quickly as possible on our spies, because that gives us a lot more science. Because when Chungsu's trait is fully maxed out, you get 30 science per successful mission per agent rank. There's 3 agent ranks, so 30 times 3 is 90. So you get 90 science per successful mission, whether that's steal credits, steal technology, or simply steal science. So that, usually you can get at least 10% more science out of a mission, which is not a lot, but it's pretty good. We've got a golem down there now, primal golem. Those things are pretty impressive. And are we beaming another one in here? Oh, very good. Yeah, so this is the hybrid supremacy and purity unit there, and it is a beast. This is a tough son of a bitch. So anyway, here we're gonna, with that particular guy, we plan on building our intercontinental railway very, very, very slowly, but as quickly as we can. I'm just gonna have a sip of my beer for a second here, folks. We still have that single tank. We're just gonna blow it out of existence now. The cities... The NSA cities are now done resisting by the looks of it. I've just gone ahead and I've annexed every single city because there's not... Unhealthiness is not nearly as potent as it was in Civilization 5, where unhappiness is the thing you need to worry about. And I'm also just trying to knock down those units, trying to just whittle down things and trade efficiently with Intgr's 2 tanks there. But yeah, anyway, unhealthiness is something that you can be at probably 100 unhealthiness, and your civilization won't progress as quickly as you'd like, but you're not going to be losing any wars over it, which is the biggest thing. You're not going to have any wars or rebellions or anything like that. That simply does not happen in this game, which is kind of a welcome change, but it does make it so you're really freaking lazy, although they make health very difficult to get initially, and then as you progress, it becomes trivial to get. Like, there's a satellite that produces health, and the thing that I usually try to get fairly early, the biowell, produces health as well. So, ooh, we finally have our aircraft here. So what we're going to be choosing here is the amazing upgrade here that I've seen, that I'm very impressed with, and you'll see later on why I'm so impressed with it. But anyway, the upgrade to have 30% more damage when a unit is wounded. And the Angel, I don't think we use much of that. Now this is a cool unit right here. The Aquilon. The Aquilon is a flying battleship / carrier is what it is. And we actually go for the one that has extra capacity, because that means we can store 2 fighter jets in there, which is pretty damn cool. It has the same capacity as a carrier, as our Shepherds right there, but it also is capable of offensive action, capable of bombardment. So that is pretty damn cool. I am very curious about the Golem's attacks here. I never actually did turn off the quick animations here to quick combat to see what happens when they attack. So, maybe something to do in my next Let's Play here. We'll turn off the quick animations for a couple of turns. Anyway, we just got some housekeeping to do here. We need to get some more missions set up. We need to choose production. And yeah, I kind of wish that I had enhanced user interface enabled on this particular one, just because I think that would be easier for me to deal with. And here's something interesting. Apparently, you can build rail tracks on top of an alien nest now, because I'm doing that right now. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna push ahead. We're gonna go ahead and push ahead. Yep. Whatever happens, it'll be ahead. We're continuing to just whittle down the forces around the Intgr capital here. So whenever a tank sticks its head out, we're going to go ahead and hit it in the head. Yeah, we've got our 2 golems out there that are very, very difficult to kill. Plus they heal per turn. They heal for like 3 HP per turn, which is pretty damn good. It makes them even more dangerous when fortified. And also they apparently provide shielding to adjacent units. It's also pretty cool. Anyway, we're, I think also with the fighter craft there, we selected the fighters for a sec, but it seems like it seems almost, and this might not be the case, but it seems almost like they actually hit wounded cities harder as well. Because they seem to do a lot of freaking damage once a city is in a little bit of negative health, but that could just be misrepresentation of the numbers or something like that. I'm not sure. Or it could simply be just a snowball effect as well. Like, you know, when the city is getting attacked by a fighter craft, the strength differences are more in favor of the fighter craft if it's wounded already than it is in terms of the city. So, like, say the fighter's got 50 attack and the city's got 100 HP, it's not going to do as much as, say, if the city has 75 HP and the fighter has 50 attack. So that could be it. I'm not sure. The end result is that when cities are wounded, they get the shit kicked out of them. Ark just lost their capital to Franco-Iberia there. Elodie took it out like the bitch that she is. And we are going to have to deal with her at some point. As a matter of fact, I think, unfortunately, the commentary was lost on the videos where we deal with Elodie as well, which is quite unfortunate because it's always fun when we're talking about Elodie, because we're calling her a bitch and she could be someone's grandma. And it makes me feel kind of bad for calling her such a bitch. But fortunately, she is not real. She is a fictional character in a fictional video game where the leaders of these nations or sponsors, whatever, they act like they have some kind of sociopathic psychological disorder where they behave like shitheads towards one another. Also, in other news here, we're going to go ahead and move our golem a little closer. Our goal is to go ahead and just kill that beacon here, because even though we killed it the first time, we want to make sure that before we peace out, that the beacon is gone, because, well, the beacon's annoying, quite frankly. It puts a timer on how long we have to get our own victory condition, because the AI might get theirs instead. The beacon seems to be a fairly popular one for them. Anyway, I'm just going to have a little sip of my beer here, and, oh wait, no, I'm going to talk about this first here. So I'm sure you guys have heard me ramble on about this before, but as always here, you want to go in Rising Tide, you want to go to the trade overview screen, select available routes, and then you want to select highest science delta if you care about getting the most credits versus your opponent. And then it's the same thing if you want to get the most credits or the most science or whatever. So that is something very important to keep in mind, because a lot of the trade routes are actually kind of weird, where, say, if you set up a cap or a trade route with another person's capital from your capital, you might run into a situation where, say, you're getting 3 science back from that trade route, and they're getting 5, even though you initiated the trade route. It's a really odd kind of setup that they have there, but it can be dealt with simply by going in there and selecting highest science delta. Then it'll give you a list of available trade routes if you select that for what's the best in terms of science. You just scroll through it, and it goes from top to bottom telling you what you should do. So that bit of micromanagement, I can't stress enough, that is a huge component of being successful at this level of difficulty. So anyway, now that we're just like collecting units here, I'm just gonna have some more of my beer. Alright, so my golems have done some work there. I wonder if my fighter jets can reach them from here. I'm not sure. I don't think they can. However, those are melee units, so that's they'll have to take a lot of damage attacking my golems, and at this point, it's become pretty obvious that trade routes to Mendria from anywhere are the best trade routes. Mendria just produces so much science when you send a trade route to it. So the KP capital is really, really, really good right now for us. It's probably also because we're cooperating with them and everybody else fucking hates us. Anyway. Oh, another thing I should mention about these agreements here. Now, I haven't played with a weaker civilization yet on Apollo difficulty, but my experience has been contrary to what a dude who posted a strategy about how to win on Apollo difficulty said. He said that your best bet was to... I think we're almost done in terms of the video here, folks. So I'm going to discuss that one next time, about what he said, what I found out. But, yeah, let's take a look here. So what are we up to? We are slowly, ever so slowly, getting towards the Intgr capital here. Our golems are holding their ground. I believe our infantry there, I'm not sure if they're called Vipers or Savages or whatever, are also holding their ground at the moment. But, yeah, I think we're just got one more turn left here, and then after that we're going to pack it in. And I will throw a cut down, and we'll move on to the next episode. And I'm trying to count it down here. Oh my goodness. Alright, that would be it. Thank you very much for watching, folks. XSplit says goodbye. I will see you next time.